Rob, let's go here. Jalen Hurts, we've been saying it all show. He's got a sprained shoulder and is expected to be out. What were they
Throwing
saying?
shoulder
at least,
too, not right.
At least 2 weeks. Rob G. Jalen is, I don't know what the odds are saying right now, but he certainly was the front runner for the MVP going into this weekend. And he's probably still the slight front runner now. Although, I had him slightly ahead of Patrick Mahomes because of what happened last week when Mahomes threw the 3 picks and Jalen Hurts had a great game. I thought this week that Mahomes got a little closer, Rob. He played a great game, 36 for 41, 330 some odd yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for another touchdown. He was great. And Hurts, was really good.
Hurts had 3 more touchdowns, right?
Right. But he also threw 2 picks. And so I thought the gap, not that it was huge anyway, but I thought that Mahomes gained a little ground largely because of Hurts' 2 interceptions, just a little bit.
I'll say this, though. Joe Burrow is in the room now.
He's playing well.
He's in the room, Chris. He's in the room.
I think he's a clear third. But, if those 2 were to struggle, or obviously Hurts might even not play for a few games, if not all 3. If Mahomes struggles, Rob, and Burrow comes on strong, he's right there. I mean, with the way that team is arguably playing the best football in the league, or certainly
Chris,
maybe
they lost their
AFC.
first 2 games. They're 10-2.
Yep.
I mean, that you could look at it. Chase has missed time. I could go on and on. Hey, Rob G has the odds, though, Chris, the latest MVP odds. Let's hear what they are.
You guys were right on the money. This injury is going to reshape the MVP odds, Mark. According to Fox Bet, earlier on Monday, Jalen Hurts was still the favorite at minus 145. Patrick Mahomes second at plus 130. Immediately after the news broke, Mahomes jumps to minus 200 as the favorite. Hurts slides back to plus 200. And since then, it's all been bet all the way down to Mahomes minus 300.
Wow. What do you think, Rob? I mean, do you think this injury should be an impact? Obviously, Hurts has played 14 games.
Chris, we've already seen this movie. Carson Wentz was going to win the MVP and got hurt with about 2 or 3 weeks to go, and Tom Brady slipped in there.
16.
Am I right? You remember that? He missed the last 3 games. Brady slipped in there. Wentz was the MVP going into that. He had a phenomenal 13 games, and they held it against him. Even though
I don't think it's holding it against you as much as it is. I mean, there's only 16 now, 17 games in football.
But he still had.
3. That's a lot.
If you go back, Rob G, look it up. He had more touchdowns than Brady. I think he had a better quarterback rating. Like if you look at the numbers, in 3 less games, he had more touchdowns than Brady. I'm almost positive. I remember his numbers were still better, and he didn't get it because he didn't play the last 3. But Rob G, I could be wrong. Check it out. I remember him having better numbers than Brady. Go ahead, Chris. I'm just want to.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now. He played 13 games. Only averaged 253 yards a game. Carson Wentz, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 101.9 passer rating. Brady played all 16 games. Had a higher completion percentage. Brady was 66%. Wentz was 60%. Brady threw for 286 yards a game to Wentz's, like I said, 253. Now, he did have more touchdowns.
That's what I thought.
Brady had 32, which is 1 less than Wentz.
But he had 3 more games.
8 interceptions, right, and 8 interceptions. And his passer rating was better than Wentz's. Wentz only had the touchdowns on him, but other than that. But Wentz, it looks like he led the league. No, Russell Wilson led the league with 34 touchdowns. Wentz had 33. So he was second. But, yeah, I mean, I think this will be a factor. It looks like he's going to miss 2 games. Because I think it's close, Rob. If it's not close at all, then maybe, I think you might be able to get away with missing 2 or 3 games. But if it's close,
But especially if Patrick Chris has a bad game or two, you know what I mean? Like, or a bad game, something blows up in his face, like that could hurt him. I looked at a stat earlier, and Mahomes has thrown 9 interceptions in his last 9 games. Is that correct?
well, he's got 11 for the season, so that might be correct.
Yeah. Patrick has. I'm just going over some notes real quick. Yeah, 9 interceptions in his last 9 games. Okay.
Right. But you think that's like bad enough to?
No, I'm just saying, if he has another bad 3 interception game, that might negate or alter the missing games. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that could. If he plays lights out, then he's gonna have a better shot because he's playing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If he plays well and Hurts isn't playing, he has a better shot at winning.
Yeah, Mahomes has been playing great. Like you said, last week he did have the 3 interceptions against Denver. He also had 3 touchdowns, 352 yards. But he really, like you said, it's the 3 interception game.
That's the one that pushed him back.
Against
right.
Buffalo, he had 2. So outside of that, he hasn't had, that's 5 of the 9 right there. But I think it's close enough. You're right. I mean, if Mahomes doesn't play well, heck, Burrow might slide in there.
That's what I'm saying. That could happen.
But I do think I'm not saying Hurts can't win it, because if Burrow doesn't play well and Mahomes doesn't play well, maybe they lose a game or two that they should win, and Hurts just misses the games. I do think Hurts could win it, Rob. Yeah. Even missing 2 games.
If the other guys play poorly, I agree with you. But if they play lights out and they get 7 touchdowns in those 2 games, Chris, and no picks, then it's going to be hard.
And honestly, I think that's as it should be. I mean, I do think that the games played, when you only play 17 games, it should matter, because each game is so important in the NFL. Now, again, if you're that far ahead of everyone, then you can win it, to me, with missing 2 or 3 games. But if it's close, I think that's going to have a fact. Just like, Rob, if it's close, then I think it can come down to 1-loss record. I mean, if Mahomes and Hurts are neck and neck, and Hurts were to play every game, then I do think a deciding factor might be that his team was 16-1 or something like that.
Right. If they won every game, absolutely. I do think in circumstances like that, that does matter. I do.
Yep.